Feminine Space is an interior design company that deals with everything from interior refurbishments to new builds as well. We have our own in-house build team as well as our own in-house joiners. We deal with everything from softs through to new builds, as I mentioned before. And we've been going for over about 10 years. We're based in the Belsize Park area. We service mainly central London, but we've slowly started getting involved in a lot of international projects as well. And then, of course, Brickfields in Radlett is our flagship sustainable Eco Level 5 home that we've just completed. Brickfields isn't our first project by any means, but it's definitely our first eco home where everything was based around the fact that you don't need to forego luxury if you want to build eco.
The site that the building is on is actually on Greenbelt land, which means that in order to be allowed to build there, we had to make sure that the project achieved code level 5 of the sustainable homes criteria. So it was, it was important in that sense, but also we had to meet a certain criteria of energy being provided on site. So we've got ground source heat pumps to provide energy for the building, and also solar panels on the roof to generate electricity. So, but we've managed to incorporate that without making the building visibly different because of all that additional technology. So you don't see any of that, but it's all there.
There were a couple of points that we wanted to keep in mind when we were building Brickfields. One was the location, and the location also led on to a lot of inspiration for the look of the building in the end. And the second was that you needn't forego luxury, as we mentioned before, or contemporary aesthetics in order to build eco. So those two together brought us the final look and feel of Brickfields, both from the outside as well as the inside. And the history of the area as well is that it actually used to be a brick industry area, brick making industry area. So we used a lot of that as inspiration, hence not only the name, but the look in the end and the contemporary feel to the whole building.
I think the ribbon fireplace, the bioethanol fireplace, obviously bioethanol is a cleaner kind of form of fuel. So we were excited about being able to use that. It also meant that we had the freedom to position the fireplace wherever we wanted in the building, because also due to the ventilation system that we have in place, we've got a constant stream of fresh air, and that also meant we could use the fireplace that Planika provides, because it doesn't require an external vent. We had a representative from Planika who actually came and did a site visit and, talked to the builders and, surveyed the site before the installation was carried out. So everyone had was able to talk about any potential issues before that they became, a problem at all. So it was a very good kind of support system from your company as well. So the part of the building that the fireplace is in is actually oval shaped, that whole from the exterior as well. And the wall that we have the fireplace within actually has a staircase kind of running behind it. So it's quite a strong feature in the room, and we wanted to accentuate that curve, and it felt like the perfect position to have a fireplace in there. It's just such a cozy place to kind of sit with a book and, beside the fireplace. Perfect place to curl up and read a book.
As I mentioned before, Zara is our architectural designer, and I'm one of the interior designers here. And we always work within a team to make sure that we draw in all aesthetics to work not only practically, but to look good as well. And I think in the UK with, it's obvious cold temperatures, although you might have internal heating, the visual of a fire is always very cozy and very attractive. And, as far back as we can go in history, humans have always been drawn to a fire or a fireplace. So it's definitely something that we talk about between, the designers and the architects here. And we choose something like a fireplace specifically for its aesthetic as well as the obvious warmth that it gives off. And so yes, to answer your question in short, that's definitely something we think about before we, put together the whole room scheme. Well, I think that the advent of bioethanol fuel fires have definitely changed the face of fireplaces for a generation that is now coming to grow up with them. I mean, I think if I introduced a bioethanol fireplace to my grandparents, they might have been a bit taken aback and quite surprised. But I think with today's living, which is usually centered around very open plan spaces, fires have had to change around that because it's not necessarily something that we're willing to forego within a space, but rather how do we change the technology and the look of a fireplace in order to fit in with these open plan spaces that we're now living amongst. So I don't think it's just in the UK that it's changed. I think, as you mentioned, internationally, we've had to have a look at how do we redesign, not necessarily reinvent, but redesign and work around the current specifications needed around a fireplace in the home. Well, we had a custom upholstery unit made that sits right in front of the fireplace. It's a circular sofa, which then goes within the curves of that area and fits in quite snugly. And that we had upholstered in fabric that we chose from one of our fabric houses. And we had the chair made up specifically so that it fits it into the whole area. We also had a curved bookshelf unit up there as well to store books for reading in the cozy corner. And the fireproof wallpaper that we used on the wall around the fireplace also accentuates the curve of the wall, and as well as the glow of the fire when it's on. And we also chose to have a fire-treated timber surround to the fireplace, which is unusual, but it ties in with the natural surroundings and the cladding on the exterior of the building, as well as tying together seamlessly with the floor finish and other furniture pieces in the room.